Hello guys, and welcome to a brief demo of the latest package from Anderson Software Engineering, which is a payroll package. Okay. 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 This payroll system, it supports direct connections to network time clocks. It also supports uploading of time data through Excel spreadsheet, and it produces outputs all the taxes, the NIS, that kind of stuff for the employees. You're gonna notice this is the main home screen, and you're gonna notice the word period being used a lot. This is because the uh, payroll system uses periods to process each payroll. Each payroll is a period. It can be a weekly period, or a monthly period, or a fortnightly period. So the main home screen gives us the list of payrolls that we have processed so far in the account posting box. We have the list of previous payrolls that have been processed. I'm just gonna roll back this payroll here because this is which we're gonna be doing our demo. I'm gonna delete it as well. The list on the left is payrolls yet to be processed. As soon as a payroll is processed, it comes out of this list. When we want to process payroll, we just select it from this list under process. We'll have a more comprehensive demo later on, or you can check the Anderson Software website for actually an interactive demo. We're gonna put that up within the week or so. Okay, so let me go through a few things. We have our configuration screen. We have, for example, it's critical to produce our payroll, the threshold hours, the overtime threshold hours. So we can set this value. The current value is 40. After 40 hours in a week, the employee is entitled to overtime. And we have some things like how Sunday is classified. At the moment, Sunday is classified as double time. We can change that. So the configuration screen has a bunch of useful stuff that's critical to processing our payroll. We also have our time clock screen where we can add our network time clocks, and the system can directly connect to those time clocks to produce the time data. Okay. At the moment, we support these two models of time clock. If you have a different model, or your company has a different model, it's fairly easy as long as the time clock supports it for us to add support for that time clock. It shouldn't take more than a week to have a customized module to interface with that time clock. So here is where we will add the time clocks, delete them, whatever the case may be. And the system is fully configurable. If some of you Guyanese users would notice that it has a lot of the Guyana's NIS insurance and taxes built in. That's because we are initially targeting the Guyanese market, but the system is fully extendable, fully configurable. You can add deductions and taxes from just about anywhere, and it should be able to work in whatever location you may be. And like I said, it's fully configurable. You can change the threshold values, the bounds, and that kind of stuff. We can add new deductions, we can add new earnings, we can add a Christmas bonus if we want, that kind of stuff. So before we process a payroll, we have to make sure our employees are configured correctly, with the correct deductions and earnings and correct information, because this is going to produce also the tax information that you can use to report to GRA and the NIS information. So we have to be sure everything is configured correctly. Usually you configure the system on the first, when it's first installed, you configure your employees and you can process your payroll smoothly from there on out. You just need to upload the time data. But this is how we configure an employee. So I'm just gonna do for one employee in this payroll because it's a little bit time consuming to configure for all the employees. So we have some basic information at the top. We have the employee's name, its title, that kind of stuff. But the critical stuff is on this section, payment info. At this moment, he's scheduled as a monthly employee. Let me just edit this so you can see a bit more clearly. His payment type is salary plus hourly. There are multiple payment types. We have flat for flat salaried employees. We just put flat salary and you put the flat amount they'll be receiving monthly. And we have hourly employees and you put the hourly rate in here. And this is the flat salary value. It's of no consequence anymore. Or you can give them both. The payment method, you can do it cash or check. And also direct deposit is supported. So if you do direct deposit, the system is able to produce a document with the account numbers and the amounts for you to produce their bank to do the direct deposit. Okay, and at the bottom we have his NIS, his TIN number, and we have the critical stuff, his deductions and his earnings. So for his deductions, everything looks okay. His earnings, we can add an earning or remove an earning from him if we so choose. So we already gave him this bonus, we can remove it. And let's see, we can give him a cell phone allowance for 5,000. And this value type is going to be a flat amount and not a percentage. So as you can see, he now has an additional earning which will be in his payroll, in his pay slip. You'll have $5,000 extra for cell phone allowance. So we can go ahead and save this. And as you notice, there are some more tabs here. I'm not going to go into detail in all of them, but this tab is critical. This is how we link our employee to the time data imported from the time clock. As you know, all time clocks, when you register your employee, they have an employee ID. This employee ID you'll need to register in the system. So when the system makes a direct connection to the time clock, it will know whose data it is getting and that kind of stuff. So this is where we add and maintain those employee IDs. We have another tab containing more some HR info. We have another tab to do employee reviews. Okay, so we're not going to go into that. We just want to process a payroll. But before we can process a payroll, we have to populate that payroll, that pay period with our time data. So let's create a new pay period for the month of March. This is going to be a monthly pay period, and you see after it's created, it's here in the unprocessed list. Now we can go to period review to see the time of our that's allocated to each of our employees, but we haven't allocated any time, so they're all at 0. Now, like I said, we can do direct connection to the time clock and download the data by using time clock download. At this moment, there is not a time clock connected to the system. So we're gonna show the alternative ways to download to input the information in the system. We have the calendar where we can manually go and enter his working time, and as we enter it, you see we have a green dot indicating that's a working day. He was on duty for 9 hours, and we can further inspect that and see exactly what the clock in and clock out time was. So we can do that. We can go day by day and fill in the time, but it can be a little bit tedious. So that's why we have the time clock download, and also we have a spreadsheet import. By the way, you can see our time has been updated by 9 hours. Additionally, we can now upload a spreadsheet, and let me show you the spreadsheet format. This is the basics, one of the basic formats for uploading time into the payroll system. We have each row is a clock in, clock out for a particular employee. So the first column is the date, second is the employee ID. This ID needs to match the ID that the employee is configured with. I hope you remember that we have the employee ID in here. So this needs to match, and we are just uploading time for one employee from the 6th of March to the 12th. So there are formats depending on the time clocks, and there are different formats depending on the time clocks and that kind of stuff, but the data is basically the same. It's just maybe the date is another column and the employee ID is in this column, or that kind of stuff, or the time in is formatted differently. In this case, we see it's formatted in a 24-hour time. Some other formats, it's in 12-hour time with a AM or PM suffix. So we're just gonna upload this timesheet to our system and import the time. So selecting the time clock here is just to define the format that we're using. And we get some warnings because we've only uploaded time for that one employee, and the system is telling us we have no clock-in data for the remaining monthly employees. But this is okay, we can ignore those warnings. And if you notice, the employee's time has increased, his regular time, his overtime hours, his double time hours. He has double time because he worked on a Sunday. And you can see now on the calendar a lot of other days have populated. Every day that was in the spreadsheet is now in the calendar, and that's how you upload the employee's time with a spreadsheet. In reality, you would have the spreadsheet would contain data for all of your employees and all of the days on which they worked, not just one particular employee. but we are just doing that for the demo purpose. If our data was somehow incorrect and we wish to correct it and upload it back, all we need to do is just delete the data. It would clear his time, or clear all the time for those employees, and then we can upload it back again. So we are satisfied. We can go back to our home screen and process that payroll. So we're going to process the monthly payroll ending with the ending date of the 31st of March. And it gives us a confirmation screen. And this is a review screen. We can review the processing before we commit to printing out this payroll. So we have not put time for a lot of employees. So actually we haven't put time for any employee. So they're all coming with 0. And you notice some of them have some money. That's because they are flat salaried employees. They're not hourly. But let's go to the guy that we set up, and there he is, and that's all his earnings, and this is all his deductions. And the review screen gives you a way to confirm that you have added all of the relevant data and everything is correct. And before this allows you to have some safety before you can commit the period. So we are satisfied. So we're going to commit the period and print out the pay sheet. So we are going to print the payroll, and by default we have this type of pay sheet. And here we have, these slips are meant to be cut horizontally. So here we have the employee that we set up, and we have all his earnings, his rate of pay, and his deductions, and his gross and his net. Various companies have various requirements and various formats of the output of the pay sheet. We can customize it to suit whatever you want. This is another example of another type of pay sheet. This is meant to produce a small little pay stub, and it doesn't have that much info. And from here we can also produce, after the payroll is processed, we can produce the tax data that we can use to file GRA taxes and NIS taxes. This produces a CSV or Excel spreadsheet. We can copy directly from here and put this information into the reports provided by GRA and NIS. We have the taxable amount, net, gross, and PAYE. So this is just copy and paste to whatever document format. We were thinking of outputting directly the format that GRA requires, just output that document with this information pre-filled. But GRA and these organizations change their format so often that we think it was better to just produce a spreadsheet that you can copy the columns that you need and paste it to the document. And for breakdown of your payroll, to see how your finances were distributed, we can print out our account postings, and it will give us a breakdown by the various accounts. This is by the various deductions, and this is by the various earnings. And that, guys, is a brief run through of the payroll system produced by Anderson Software Engineering. Thanks for watching.